Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and I'm not alone. I'm here with the lovely Jim, who recently was invited to play a little bit of the new Yoshi game, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So, Jim, tell us all about it. How did it go? Give me the scoop, please.
Yeah, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is really, really sweet. It's really adorable, which should come as no surprise if you played Yoshi's Woolly World or Yoshi's Crafted World. Those games looked so gorgeous, and they were just such a fun little time to play. The big difference this time around, and my biggest takeaway from this hands-on, is that Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is way deeper than I expected it to be. It feels like, unlike Woolly World and Crafted World, both of which I really enjoyed, this one is really hitting the sweet spot between a game for kids and a game for the more experienced Yoshi fans out there as well, that maybe want a little bit more from their platformer.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I love my Yoshi. I really do. So I'm genuinely excited for Mysterious Book because I fell in love with Crafty World when I started playing it last year, played with my nephew. And I'm so excited to be able to have another game that I could possibly play with him whenever I visit, or just myself, but I suppose one of the big things I really want to know as well, we've had a look already at some of the creatures that are going to be in it, including there was a soapy one that got announced recently. What was it called again? Glubbit, thank you. Were there any other creatures that you can talk about that you saw in the preview?
Yeah, there are so many creatures, and that's one of the things that makes this game so unexpectedly deep. I think based on that overview trailer, part of me thought that each level is kind of going to be dictated by the creature that you're exploring, and that is true. That is the case. Maybe first of all, it would be good for me to explain how this game works.
Yes.
Very briefly. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book sees Yoshi, who you know, diving into, you guessed it, a mysterious book called Mr. E, Mr. Encyclopedia. And Mr. Encyclopedia is full of these pages where it's all about the lands that he's in, various lands in the world. Those pages are occupied by these adorable little creatures like Glubbit that we saw in the overview trailer. And to learn more about these creatures, Yoshi dives into the pages, and then basically what plays out is like a mini safari, a Yoshi safari, if you will, where Yoshi is tasked with ultimately getting through a level and solving a big task within it. But fundamentally what you're going about doing is you're learning about these creatures. You're learning what they taste like, how they interact with the environment, what powers they use, and you're learning how to use those powers to better navigate the stage. So the Glubbit level is one of the early ones, and Glubbit, as we saw in the trailer, can spit bubbles out, and you can use those bubbles for various different means. You can use them to pick things up and send them flying, or you can hop into them yourself and get to higher up areas. But the Glubbits will appear in later levels as well. This is not just an individual level by level basis. Once you've found out a Glubbit and you know what a Glubbit does, you're gonna be seeing those guys again, and that's exciting.
I love that. It's almost a little bit like Kirby-esque, isn't it? So like Yoshi's, or Yoshi, potato, it's like learning their features and their different abilities these creatures embody, which is actually quite refreshing, because I've always really, really loved in the older games where you could, you simply just suck something up, you eat something and you poop out an egg, and then you could just use the egg as a projectile. It's nice having them add like extra features such as that as well. I mean, speaking of features, has there anything been new added? I always find it I'm trying to keep track of what the new Yoshi games and new Mario games just in general have to offer, really.
Yeah, there are. So Yoshi still has all of his standard moves. He can still gobble up an enemy and then poop out an egg and throw said egg. He also has a tail flick this time, so you can spin round and pick up some of those creatures that I was just talking about and put them on your back. For example, if you need bubbles in point B, but you only found a Glubbit in point A, you can nip over and pick him up and take him with you. But the Kirby point is a good comparison to make, I think, because these creatures are so different. You're almost using their abilities if you have them on your back. There's a flower creature who will cause little buds to bloom if you have it on your back and you walk past with it. There are little bee creatures who you will be able to use their powers in fun and mysterious ways. And there are little like dandelion creatures who can come off their stalk and also help Yoshi in ways. There are so many different creatures in this game. I saw 2 worlds. I saw chapter 1, which was called the Wild Woods, and then I saw chapter 4, which was called the Settled Valley. So I did jump forward quite a bit. And chapter 1 was already feeling quite dense in that, the creatures, there were maybe 5 or 6 on that split of pages.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they were all starting to interact with each other as the levels went on. By the time that I jumped ahead to the Settled Valley, to chapter 4, there's so much to see here, and the levels play out, like I said earlier, where there is kind of one main objective for you to find out about the creature that you're focusing on. But there are so many other little challenges to see otherwise. You might not have spotted something that the flower creatures can do in chapter 1, and by the time you get to chapter 4 and you see them in a new environment, you say, oh, okay, so this is how a flower interacts with ice. This is how a glubbit works in mud. This is what happens when you feed a crocoroke, which is it looks like Lotad, the Pokemon. It's like a singing frog or bird. It was unclear. And you can jump on their leafy heads and they will send you higher. But maybe they'll send you higher still if you give them a certain fruit, or maybe they will send you lower if you give them a different fruit. There's a lot to learn in this game.
Exploration.
And proper exploration, which is unusual for a Yoshi game. There is still your standard platforming, like I say, and those people that do want to just play from A to B will get that. But I think that there's a lot here that I've only scratched the surface of so far. I'm excited to see what else it has in store for us.
That genuinely makes me so excited, because I was thinking to myself, because I'm just playing in my head, like the most recent Yoshi game that I've played was Crafty World. So you have like the standard levels, but then you also have the Poochie. Is it Poochie? The levels that you can go in and just find all the other Pooches and that. Again, don't know if that's going to be in this new game or anything, but I can imagine that with all the exploration and all the different kind of like experimenting, what each creature can kind of withstand in a way is, it's quite refreshing, but also it sounds bloomin' adorable. Oh my goodness.
It is so adorable. And one of the more adorable features that I know people are going to have fun with is that I've been referring to these creatures by their quote-unquote official names. Glubbit, Crocoroke. I've already forgotten the name of the flower. When you get to the end of a level, Mr. Encyclopedia will say to you, would you like to name this creature? And you can name the creature. If you're looking at Glubbit in that trailer and you think that Glubbit looks like more of a Keith, you can call it Keith, and then Mr. Encyclopedia will refer to it as Keith for the rest of the game. People are going to have fun with this, and I'll leave the internet to decide their official names for these creatures. Of course, if you're not feeling creatively inclined, you can just ask Mr. E, and he will say, I think this should be called a Glubbit, and that's cool. But also, if you want it to be called Keith, it can be called Keith.
Oh my God, I have to call my Glubbit Keith now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. Like, I'm sure everyone else like hearing this is like super excited. So actually, that's a really good point. We have all these loads of extra features and everything have been added into Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. But my big question is, there's a lot of people online and kind of some of my peers who do love a Yoshi game, but they always kind of say, it's a little bit too easy for me. A bit babyish or whatnot, because I know that I played a lot of Crafted World with my nephew, and I like to have an easy game sometimes. I don't have to think. But overall, difficulty-wise, how did you find it? Is there kind of a bit more of a wider scope with difficulty? Can you change it, or
I think that the level of challenge in the Mysterious Book is kind of going to be what you make of it. If, as I was saying earlier, those kind of main key challenges, the key discovery that you have about these creatures in each level are quite easy to stumble across. Some of them you do actually like stumble across them. Like I wasn't realizing that I was waking up all of these flowers. And then all of a sudden it said, "Hey, well done, you woke up all the flowers." So some of them are nice and accessible and very easy like that. Others of them will take a bit more skill. In the Glubbit level, sorry, the Keith level, I worked at the camera kept following me up. No matter how high I went in Keith's bubbles, the camera kept following me up, and I thought there must be a reason why the camera's following me up. And only once I did a series of bubble jumps, which were, I mean, I'm not going to say it was Celeste, but it was more platforming skill than I expected from a Yoshi game. You get right up to the top and you've learnt another thing about the Glubbit, which it will give you another little challenge to unlock. At the end of every level that I played, there was still some silhouettes left of discoveries I'm yet to make about that creature. And I'm by no means the greatest platform player out there, but I like to think I know a thing or two about them. But there were still things that I was missing. So I think that there is going to be a good amount of replayability here and a bit of challenge. As I say, don't expect a Super Meat Boy or a Celeste from this, but there is going to be a little bit more discovery to be made. Than I also enjoy Woolly World and Crafted World very much. But as I said at the start, I think that this kind of hits that sweet spot for fans and newbies alike. Yeah.
I love that, because the one thing I really like doing in most games anyway, but especially the Yoshi games, is trying to get all the collectibles. I don't care how challenging it is. I want 100% that, or as much as I can anyway. So yeah, that makes me like that. That ticks a box for me. But yeah, I suppose also, like, we've spoken a fair bit about obviously the new game, Crafted World, Woolly World. How does the new game compare to older titles, would you say? Because I know you've probably played a lot more of the Yoshi games than I have. I played a fair amount, but I haven't played all of them, you know.
Yeah, this is true. I also haven't played all of them, but I think that like the big hook here is that it feels new, and these creature mechanics are new and interesting and fun. But the big common link to previous Yoshi games, and we kind of teed it up at the start, is that it looks gorgeous. It has such a fun art style. This time we've gone for a kind of hand-drawn, hand-coloured, like a crayon look, which is kind of vaguely reminiscent of like a Yoshi's Island kind of style.
Yeah.
But much like Woolly World and Crafted World, it goes all in on that visual style. Like I really enjoyed when you reach the boundaries of a level, when you get right to the end, because it doesn't play quite like a Mario. There's no flagpole or something, you know, the levels are a space. But when you reach the boundary of the level, the color of the page kind of like fades out, and all of a sudden it's just outline, or like a kind of tea-stained page. It's such a pretty game to look at, and say what you will about the visual style of these or the previous 2-3 Yoshi games, they go all in on it and entirely dedicate themselves to it, and that's an awesome thing. There are no gameplay that I saw, but there are sequences that take place outside the book. We saw that in the trailer. For example, you pick what color Yoshi you would like to send into the book. It's not just green Yoshi. There's Yoshi and all of his friends lined up, and you choose which color you'd like. So the out of the book stuff looks more classic 3D Mario game, I suppose. But as far as I saw, that's just cutscene. The inside is so all in on that art style, and it's really pretty.
I'll admit, one thing that I really thought was absolutely gorgeous, I mean, aside from like the hand-drawn art style, is it almost kind of looks stop motion or like flipbook-esque. Like there's always that kind of slight jutteriness, which, I'm so excited. Oh, that's actually reminded me. So we got Crafted World, to my knowledge. You know, you can play 2-player, because I played with my nephew and I want to have the potential to play with him. Do you know, you probably know, and I probably could check it up right now, but please tell me there's a 2-player, or is it just single player?
Okay, let's bring the mood down a little bit. As far as I saw, and to the best of my knowledge, according to the Nintendo website as well, this is a single-player game.
No.
Look, it's absolutely the kind of game where you will be able to pass a controller back and forth, because these levels can be wrapped up so quickly, and there are more discoveries to be found. But no, if you're looking for that 2-player experience, that's not here. And that might be a mark against it, because these discoveries are so random and fun to stumble across. Part of me thinks that playing it with a friend on the sofa would be really, really nice. Look, this is just to the best of my knowledge and according to the Nintendo website. I don't think there's any multiplayer in this game. It certainly doesn't look like it. But a good single-player experience, and definitely something, as I say, that you could play with a little one in tow, and they can help you find the discoveries. There will be fun to be had here with a friend, but you're not going to get that couch co-op, I'm afraid.
I guess he and I will have to be like I was when I was growing up. My sister stealing the controller, and I'd be telling her what to do. You know.
Yeah, it's very much that vibe. You'll be able to get that.
Oh, well, one of those things, eh? But it can't be perfect, can it? I mean, we've got all the lovely aesthetics. They've got to give up something, haven't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but on that note, thank you so much for joining me today, Jim. It's always a pleasure having you on the channel.
Thank you for having me.
Very jealous you got to play it, but you know it won't be long before I get my hands on the game. I hope it's the release date's not that long away, is it?
No, only a few weeks to go.
Oh, thank goodness for that. And so on that note, why don't you let us know in the comments below, are you going to be playing Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? Are you going to be flipping those pages by, I don't know, flipping to the last page and finding a lovely subscribe button there and just eating it and getting the abilities of subscribing? Yeah. So yeah, do that. And why don't you check out NintendoLife.com for more lovely Nintendo bits and bobs. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching and have a good one. Bye.